Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. We're going to get started in a few minutes. I'm going to launch a poll as everyone starts to trickle in. And the question in the poll is, how much do you know about teaching computer science at New York City Public Schools and the computer science certification process? So let me launch that right now. And if you're thinking to yourself, well, I know nothing, that's okay. You're in the right place, but we just want to get an idea of what stages is everyone joining us in, and we're happy to have you here. So feel free to answer that poll, and we'll let people trickle in for the next 2 or 3 minutes. All right, we have some answers starting to come in. Some people have read a bit about it. Some are here to learn more. Either sides of the spectrum, we're happy to have you here. Okay, so some are saying they already began the certification application process. You're already a certified CS teacher. We're loving this, seeing all the different areas people are coming in from. No matter what side you fall on or in answering this poll, you're in the right place. So I'll give one more minute before we get started. Alrighty, so 31% has read about a bit about it. 4% already began the certification and application process. 2% certified computer science teacher, and 63% are here to learn more about teaching computer science at NYCPS. So thank you everyone who took a second to participate in the poll. I'm going to close the poll now so that we can get started. We have a lot of information to cover tonight, and I want to make sure you all leave here informed. So welcome and good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. I am Taisha Morin. I support computer science recruitment here at New York City Public Schools. As we get started, we want to share a few housekeeping notes. Click on the question mark to submit a question. Please wait to see if your question is addressed throughout the presentation before submitting. We'll answer as many questions as possible, and we will also show you how to access our online support center. And we also have QR codes scattered throughout the presentation where you can hover over those to access the links that are provided throughout the presentation. And at the conclusion of this presentation, you will also receive a recording within 24 to 48 hours in a follow-up email from me. So if you feel like there are things you missed, don't worry about it. All the information from tonight will be provided to you. So tonight, we're going to speak about the pathways to becoming a computer science teacher at New York City Public Schools. If you're a tech professional with no prior teaching experience or certification, or if you're certified to teach computer science through a classroom teacher certification, you're in the right place. And if you're here just to learn on how to engage in this as well, you're in the right place. So as I said, we have a lot to cover tonight, so let's get started. We're hoping that you walk away with the following tonight: an overview of the benefits of teaching at New York City Public Schools, an understanding of the computer science landscape at NYCPS, understanding the application and certification process to becoming a computer science teacher, and to begin determining your own eligibility and pathway to becoming a computer science teacher at New York City Public Schools. So the big question, why teach at New York City Public Schools? When you join New York City Public Schools, you join the largest, most dynamic district in the nation. I'm going to take a closer look at what that looks like. So New York City Public School has over 900,000 students who speak over 180 languages, a network of 77,000 fellow teachers, and New York City educators that have a unique privilege and responsibility to jumpstart the next generation of innovators, leaders, and citizens. NYCPS is comprised of 1,600 schools that are as diverse as our students and the distinctive neighborhoods we serve. Within our schools, teachers build personal connections with their students, colleagues, families to support relationship building and learning outcomes. In regards to our competitive salaries, starting salaries as of January 2025 are $66,733 for bachelor's and no experience, and $75,017 with master's and no experience. Teachers' starting salaries vary based on education and experience. You can also earn additional compensation for teaching after school or summer school programs and for teaching in demand environments. On September 24th, 2025, salaries are expected to increase to 68,902 and 77,455 respectively. The Office of Teacher Recruitment and Quality is unable to predict what your starting salary will be based on your experience and educational attainment, regardless of your teaching pathway that you choose. You can estimate your starting salary by visiting the UFT salary schedule, which is that QR code here on this slide. It outlines the opportunities for increase based on previous teaching experience, longevity at New York City Public Schools, and educational credits. All teachers begin at the base salary and then apply for salary steps and salary differentials using the salary application system after you begin teaching. If you're eligible for a higher salary due to experience or educational attainment, you must apply for a salary step when you begin teaching full-time at New York City Public Schools and cannot apply before then. And if you're a paraprofessional, your years of teaching does not count as full-time teaching experience. If you're a full-time substitute teacher, your experience does not count as full-time teaching experience, but you need to provide documentation and proof of your full-time work. So that's a bit on salary. And then you can find additional resources regarding salary on our NYCPS page, as well as the UFT website by accessing these QR codes. And NYCPS has a bunch of resources regarding our benefits, so you can access those codes, and we will proceed. Additional perks to working at New York City Public Schools include comprehensive health insurance plan, which includes dental, vision, prescription drugs. Some require no employee contribution. Annual retention bonuses, prorated during your first year and increases each year. Membership with the United Federation of Teachers, UFT. Enrollment in a pension plan. NYC public school employees are eligible for many additional benefits, which include commuter benefits, a college savings program, and employee discounts on everything from technology and media to travel and education. Additional things also include scholarships, financial incentives, and more. There are also exciting loan forgiveness programs that you could possibly be eligible for as a New York City Public Schools teacher. This includes the New York State Teacher Loan Forgiveness Program, which is available for teachers serving hard to staff districts or who teach in subject shortage areas in New York State. You must be a New York State resident for at least 12 months to be eligible. You can scan the QR code on the left for additional information regarding this. NYCPS employees may also be eligible for public service loan forgiveness, which is the QR code on the right. And the PSLF program forgives the remaining balance on your direct loans after you made an equivalent of 120 qualifying monthly payments under an accepted payment plan and while you're working full-time for an eligible employer. So once again, for this, you can access information on the QR code on the right. New teachers in your city hit the ground running with professional resources and learning opportunities tailored just for you, in addition to numerous career development opportunities available regardless of your years in the classroom. Each year, we survey new teachers and use the feedback to improve upon offerings. This past year, 95% of new teachers listed professional learning as a top priority. So you're joining a cohort that deeply values professional growth. New teachers in New York City Public Schools receive supports tailored specifically to their needs. These include New Teacher Week, an introduction to professional learning, 5 days of workshops led by NYCPS experts and specifically tailored for new teachers, school-based mentoring. New hires within New hires are assigned an experienced and trained mentor teacher to support professional growth throughout their first year. Additionally, there's also the First Class newsletter, a monthly digital blueprint for first year teachers that spotlights and provides vetted resources, teaching tips, and answers common new teacher questions. Teachers in New York City Public Schools, no matter where they are in their career, also have access to ample development opportunities at their school, including coaching, professional development days, and after-school learning opportunities. In addition to school-based supports, optional development opportunities are made available by various teams, including New York City Public School offices and the UFT. So who is New York City Public Schools looking for? We are looking for passionate, collaborative, and committed teachers. If this sounds like you and you believe in the power of education to transform students' lives, then NYCPS might be the place for you. We will first begin with an overview of computer science at New York City Public Schools. I'm going to turn over to my colleague Tunisia, who will cover the importance of CS at New York City Public Schools, the CS for All initiative, and how CS teachers are impacting students at New York City Public Schools.
Thank you. My name is Tunisia Mitchell. I lead the computer science education team within the Office of Student Pathways, and we help spearhead efforts across our system to support New York City public schools in receiving computer science. And so if you join New York City Public Schools as a computer science teacher, you will be able to help our students in preparing for college careers and a tech-driven world. You will be able to support our students in being able to get introductions to cutting edge fields such as AI, cybersecurity, and data science to give them a head start in some of the fastest growing industries that we are facing in real world practices, bringing into the classroom. In connection to the classroom, as a New York City public school teacher, you'll be able to help our students gain hands-on learning experience. This could look like coding experiences through projects that help students apply what they learn in practice in connection to real-world complexities and ideas that they are facing on a day-to-day. And last but not least, one big piece that you'll be able to help support our students in doing is thinking critically and solving complex problems. We believe wholeheartedly in equipping our students with a strong plan, head start, and real skills, and how they can gain critical computer science skills here in New York City Public Schools to translate them into their careers and post-graduation. In that effort, the New York City Public Schools had developed Computer Science for All, which our team supports this initiative to enable all of our students to receive computer science. And so this initiative started back in 2015. Since then, we have supported 93% of our schools in receiving computer science education by 2023. And so this is in counting. There's still more supports happening. And we have trained over 3,000 educators in receiving computer science education. So whether they knew computer science before or they did not know computer science, there are supports in our system to help train and upskill our teachers in learning computer science and how to translate that learning into implementation. Last but not least, for CS for All, we support all students K to 12 in receiving computer science, and that includes both curriculum supports and training opportunities for our educators and our districts. This video here provides an opportunity to see a little bit more of what computer science looks like in action through one of our CS for All events. I'm going to pass over to Taisha. Do you think you can be able to play it for us?
Yes, I'm gonna try it now and then let me know if we hear it.
We are not able to hear the audio.
Taisha,
What did you say, Tanisha? Are you not hearing it?
We are not able to hear the audio.
no, are this you have to play the video, Taisha, through the sharing component on GoToWebinar. But if that doesn't work, then we can maybe just
Okay.
voice over the video.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's not popping up. I will share the video, the link to the video in the follow-up email. But Tanisha, if you could speak to the impact of CS for All while I played in the background.
I would love to. Thank you so much for that. And so the video that is playing now is one of the student and community events that we have hosted to enable students to explore computer science through a hackathon approach. A hackathon is an event where our students come across a problem and they develop a solution, or they hack a solution to that problem utilizing computer science. We believe deeply in making sure at every grade band that students be able to explore computer science so they could be able to learn CS concepts and practices. They'll be able to create computer science, so thinking about project-based learning and being able to test their learning of these concepts and skills in real-world projects. Uh, we believe in our students in innovating computer science, so they have the ability to not just develop projects, but share their own ideas, share their thoughts and interests with the skills that they're gaining in their classrooms, whether it's in data science, artificial intelligence, software engineering. We want to make sure that our students come from diverse backgrounds and they are able to leverage those diverse backgrounds and their ideas to utilize computer science to build solutions. So what you're looking at right now is a Scratch project where some of our students are sharing a story of theirs utilizing Scratch to do block-based programming, where they provide a sequence of codes to develop a story in Scratch. Last but not least, what you will see in this video is truly just students being able to share systematic impact, thinking about the lives around them, both in their school, in their district, and in their communities. And so we encourage our students in our classrooms to deliver presentations on what they build with computer science and utilize computer science as an agency of change to help elevate what they see in the world and what they can help build to support society.
Thank you so much, Anisia.
Thank you.
Alrighty, everyone. So we've heard a bit about how computer science programs and teachers are making an impact on NYCPS students. Now we will dive into computer science teacher certification pathways, exploring the most common options, providing examples, and guiding you on how to choose the pathway that best suits you. Becoming a certified computer science teacher. So all New York City public school teachers must hold a New York State teacher certification. Prospective computer science teachers must meet specific NYCED, which is the New York State Education Department certification requirements in order to teach various computer science courses. There are two main pathways you can obtain certification as a computer science teacher at New York City Public Schools, and that's a classroom teacher certification and a transitional A certification. And we're going to go in a bit about what those two specific pathways entail. So let's take a look at the differences between the two. A classroom teacher certification, the candidate must complete required courses, required coursework and in-field training, and earn a teaching certificate in computer science or technology education pre-K to 12. On the other hand, Transitional A, other known as Trans A certification, is a non-traditional teaching route for candidates who have tech industry experience and industry experience specifically in computer-related fields. You can teach without completing a classroom teacher prep program. You earn a Trans A CTE teaching certificate in computer technology under the title information technology without prior teaching experience. And then later we will briefly cover career and technical education, CTE, and its connections to Trans A certification. As we cover this pathway, you will hear the word CTE or career and technical education thrown around. So in a few slides, we will go into that about what's that about. While we mentioned there are two pathways towards obtaining certification to become a computer science teacher, there is a third pathway known as the Statement of Continued Eligibility, or the SOCE. In order to qualify for the SOCE, candidates must have taught at least one computer science course, was employed when the SOCE was issued. The application for the SOCE is currently closed, but we wanted to give you context on this additional pathway. Now that we have named available certification, it's important to understand which courses you can teach with each certification. Here we have an example of NYCPS computer science courses and their required certifications to teach them. And this is only 3 examples that I pulled. The course titles are on the left, and the check marks indicate which certification would qualify to teach them. So CTE, Introduction to Computer Science, the only certification amongst these 3 that qualifies for it is the Classroom Teacher Certification Computer Science K through 12, while web design and computer program, all the certification pathways for computer science qualified to teach those courses. And these are only 3 examples. You can scan the QR code on the right to access the full guidance document, which outlines the certification requirements for each computer science course and pathways towards meeting them. Now let's talk about how to become a computer science teacher through the certified teacher pathway. If you aren't yet a certified computer science teacher, access the QR code right above by Be Certified to learn more, um, learn more about becoming certified. Please be advised that for the certified teacher pathway, you will need to provide proof of certification as part of your NYCPS teacher application. If your application is successfully screened, you will gain access to New York City Public Schools job portal, which we will talk in greater detail later on, and as well as resources to help you find computer science teaching positions. And as we said, we will dive into this a bit deeper later on. And before you start your New York City Public Schools teacher application for the classroom teacher pathway, access this guide. This QR code leads you to the guide. What you're looking at is a screenshot of the teachnyc.net website where you can find this guide as well as our application. By going to the home page, you can click on the image in the lower right to access the application guide. The guide shares information on preparing your NYCPS teacher application. This includes how to create an account, completing your common profile, tips and notes, and frequently asked questions. It also introduces you to our online support center, where you can contact us and have access to many articles that may have answers to the questions you currently have, and then thoroughly review this document before starting your application, as it takes you through a step-by-step guide on how to navigate the New York City Public Schools teacher application as a certified candidate. Now let's talk about how to become a computer science teacher through the Trans-A pathway. Trans-A certification is the ideal pathway for career changers within uh, with industry experience in technology to become a certified computer science teacher at New York City Public Schools. A little bit about a Trans-A cert. A Trans-A teaching certificate allows the employment of individuals with experience who meet the education or occupational requirements of NYCED for CTE, specifically in the industry area of information technology, which is the area or title that allows you to teach computer science through this pathway. Um, what is so unique about Trans-A certification is that it allows you to teach before receiving an initial cert, which is a typical first certificate for most New York City public school teachers. So before exploring the Trans-A pathway to becoming a computer science teacher, let's revisit career and technical education and its link to Trans-A. Like I said, you'll hear CTE often as we discuss the Trans-A pathway. It's central to the certification pathway. What is CTE? Career and technical education, also known as CTE, is an alternative pathway to teaching using using your industry experience. How does it work in the context of computer science? Candidates with tech industry experience, examples such as software development, IT, computer science, and other computer-related fields, can qualify to teach computer science at New York City Public Schools by earning a Trans-A certification in CTE, information technology. Some key takeaways: through CTE, Trans-A turns real-world experience into a teaching credential, especially in high-demand fields like computer science. Some quick facts about Trans-A. The Trans A certification is provided by the New York State Education Department, also known as NYCED. We'll review the process tonight, but note that we do not make final award determinations. That's for both pathways. NYCED and New York City Public Schools are separate entities, and NYCED is the one that is responsible for issuing certification. A Trans A certificate allows you to teach grades 7 to 12 for 3 years. Within those 3 years, you will need to remain at the same New York City Public School and complete the course requirements to apply for an initial cert, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later as well. This tool in the QR code provided gives a detailed description of what work experience NYCED is looking for the title CTE Information Technology, which is the title that allows Trans A candidates to teach computer science. Information technology requires extensive experience in computer hardware, software networks, data and/or programming, and there's an extensive list once you scan the QR code. Relevant experience includes computer programming, systems analysts, network engineering, etc. Use the QR code to thoroughly review NYCED's experience requirements by title to learn more about what they're particularly looking for this CTE industry area. There are many different pathways Trans A teacher candidates can take to receive a Trans A certification. The pathway you choose will likely depend on your education level, your industry experience, and if you hold the industry credential. Tonight, we will be going over some of the most common pathways and we'll share information about where you can get more details about all the pathway options. As I stated, there are multiple pathways available for Trans A certification. This chart shows at a high level the multiple pathways available for Trans A. Again, the pathway you choose will likely depend on your education level, your tech industry experience, and if you hold an industry credential. And this is one of the resources that's available on our NYCPS website as well. But throughout the presentation, we will provide resources available by NYCED as well that you can access to see what are the particular pathways specifically for CTE information technology. This tool is the New York State Certification Requirements search page. This is where you're going to search for relevant pathway requirements for CTE information technology. Be sure to check this web page carefully to find the specific requirements for that you meet to determine your qualifications. When you're searching on this page, you'll put the following information in the drop-down menu. First, you'll select Career and Technical Teacher as your area of interest and Information Technology as the subject area. The grade level dropdown will only offer grade 7 to 12 as Trans A only qualifies to teach grade 7 to 12. Then you will select Computer Technology as the title. Then lastly, you will select Transitional A as the cert license and press search to see all the specific pathway requirements and for information technology. And once again, going through that thoroughly to assess which pathway your experience most align with. And there may be an instance where you find that there are multiple pathways that you could possibly qualify for. And we often get questions of, what if I qualify for more than one? Like, it's at the discretion of the candidate to determine which one is best suitable for you. So it's a good thing if you qualify for more than one, but determine which one is best for you to apply for to NYCED. There are some items that are required for all Trans A certificate across all pathways for information technology. These requirements include completing 3 workshops, committing to teaching at the same New York City Public Schools for 3 years, of your Trans A certification, receiving a year of mentoring, daily supervision for your first 20 days of teaching, as well as fingerprint clearance. And we'll talk a bit more about some of these requirements tonight. And you can also find more information at these links. As I said, I know there's a lot of QR codes throughout the presentation. And if you're not able to hover over everything, we will be providing a recording, which will have all this information. So pathways A and B are the most common pathway Trans A candidates use to get their Trans A certification. To qualify for Pathway A, you must have at least an associate's degree in a computer science field and a minimum of 2 years of work experience. Pathway B, which is also very popular. To qualify for this pathway, you must have at least a high school diploma and at least 4 years of work experience in the field um, in the field of information technology or computer science, and you must take and pass the New York State Teacher Certification Exam, communicative and quantitative skills. You can find out more about this in the link provided. And last but not least, Pathway J. To qualify for Pathway J, you must have a bachelor's degree or higher in a computer science field and either 1 year of work experience or an industry credential. As you can see, each pathway is unique. There are further nuances within pathways, um, especially for CT information technology. You'll want to make sure to check the state certifications requirements page and industry requirements page to see what pathway you might qualify for. Use the QR code on the right to learn more about industry credentials for information technology. And we know that navigating pathways can be quite complex, so let's talk through some examples. We have Leanna. Leanna has an associate's degree in computer science from Queensborough Community College, and she has worked as a software developer for 5 years. Leanna should pursue Pathway A. Why? Because she has an associate's degree in computer science, as well as 2+ years of work experience in the field of computer science. Our next example, which is Taylor. Taylor has a bachelor's degree in information technology from the city of New York, CUNY. Taylor has worked for 2 years as a junior software engineer as a tech startup. Taylor should pursue Pathway J because Taylor has a bachelor's degree in computer science as well as 1 year of work experience. And then our last example, let's consider Alex. Alex has been working as a programmer for 10 years. Alex should pursue Pathway B, which does not require any high school education after high school or a GED. However, remember for Pathway B, Alex will be required to take that exam, the New York State Communication and Quantitative Skills. And these are just 3 examples. As I demonstrated with the chart I showed earlier, there are multiple pathways, and you might find that you qualify for more than one. Go with the one that you feel like most aligns with your education and work experience to further increase your chances of obtaining certification. And so now we're going to talk through the process to becoming a computer science teacher through the Trans A pathway. We know that the Trans A CTE application and certification process can be quite confusing, as we've shown through the multiple example of the pathways you can possibly take. So we've broken it down the process into 8 steps, which we will now walk through in detail to help you kickstart your computer science journey at New York City Public Schools. So step 1 is to choose a CT industry area, and in this case, the industry area that allows you to teach computer science is CT information technology. Be sure to clearly read the requirements on the state's website to make sure you will meet all the qualifications for this industry area. The next, as we just saw, determining which pathway is best for you. Some of the questions that you can ask yourself to make those determinations is, what is your education level and background? What's your work experience? And if you have any industry credentials. Remember, there's no one size fit all, but choose the one that best aligns with your experience. Next, you're going to update your resume and get ready to complete your New York City Public Schools teacher application. Here are some tips to consider when updating your resume. Make sure your relevant experience in technology is visually prominent with headings like related industry experience. Be sure to clearly describe your roles and responsibilities and highlight your years of experience. Keep in mind your resume is pertinent to the review of the NYCPS teacher application as a Trans A candidate. Compared to the other pathway, which is a classroom teacher, which you solely need to show that you're certified. Trans A, we are assessing your resume to ensure that you meet the qualifications of a pathway for Trans A certification. So the resume is a very important aspect of that. As we mentioned, the New York City Public Schools New York City Public Schools is a separate entity from NYCPS certification application. You will need to complete both, and you should do so at the same time. In order to submit your New York City Public Schools teacher application, visit teachnyc.net or access the QR code here. The 2025-2026 application is now open. Apply now to gain access to computer science job opportunities at NYCPS. As we just mentioned, you will also want to create a Teach account, a NYCPS Teach account to apply for Trans A certification. This way you can complete your required workshops. You can upload the information directly to your Teach account. Once you've submitted both applications, you're going to need to gather documentation to continue the certification process. Your required documentation will depend on the pathway you selected, but you may need to collect things such as official transcripts, evidence of industry credentials, and a work verification form. Please be sure to get a copy of any work verification form submitted on your behalf. And the QR code there leads to the work verification form. Please be advised that applicants who completed their education outside of the United States must have a foreign credential report submitted directly by an acceptable organization. And the QR code here leads you to see NYCPS acceptable organizations. The New York State Education Department does not accept credentials reports submitted directly by the applicant. And the foreign credential report is necessary for NYCPS to review your teacher application. We're almost there. We know it's a lot of information. Be sure to complete your required workshops. NYCPS is an official provider of these workshops, which you can find more information on the QR code provided. And the most, I guess, important part that we get a lot of questions about, the job search. So you selected your pathway that you qualify for the CT industry area, information technology. You submitted your NYCET and NYCPS applications, and you collected your resume and all documentation. It's time to begin the job search. As a Trans A candidate, our office will review your NYCPS teacher application. If it seems like you meet the state's requirements for your selected pathway for information technology, your application will be entered into the new teacher finder, which is NYCPS's job search tool. And we'll learn a little bit more about that shortly. Remember that it is your responsibility as a candidate to secure your own job, find and secure your own job as part of securing certification. And what happens next as a Trans A pathway candidate? As a preview about what happens after you receive a job offer, once you receive a job offer, the principal will coordinate the next steps with the Human Resources Director, which is also known as the HRD. For Trans A candidates, if your certification isn't approved yet, the HRD will contact you for documentation to submit to New York City Public Schools Certification Office for review. If the documentation submitted indicates that you meet the state's requirements for information technology, the CERT office will grant you a temporary certification so you could begin teaching. Note that they will only do this if they're confident you will meet the state's requirements. So be sure to double and triple check that the requirements, double and triple check that you meet the requirements using the state resources from the state's website. As we mentioned, the Trans A certificate is valid for 3 years. Within those 3 years, you will need to complete 3 courses, which are 9 credits totals, as well as paid teaching. Visit the webpage link here for additional information. We also have information about recommended courses from partnering universities. Whew, so we made it this far, and we're almost at the end. So let's briefly recap the process to teaching computer science at New York City Public Schools and your next steps, as well as where you can get additional support. We'll then go through a few questions that we haven't answered and see what we can address now with the very short time that we have. So I'm going to try to go through this and see if we could answer a question or two. So as a brief certification pathway recap, as we mentioned, Trans A certification allows non-teacher candidates to teach computer science. There are multiple pathways based on your education and industry experience. On the other hand, a classroom teacher certification, this certification allows certified teacher candidates to teach computer science, and there are 2 pathways, which is computer science and technology education, pre-K to 12. Some next steps for both pathways. No matter your pathway, remember you need to create a Teach account if you're not already certified to begin your certification process. Complete the New York City Public Schools teacher application. If you're successfully screened, you will gain access to the new teacher finder. The new teacher finder is New York City Public Schools job search tool. You will also gain access to hiring resources for teaching positions. And the goal here is to get hired to become a New York City Public Schools computer science teacher. We offer a lot of different job search supports and encourage you to take advantage of them all, including researching schools online, conducting direct outreach to schools using the new teacher finder if your application is successfully screened, and vacancy lists that we send to you via email, and attending workshops and networking events you are invited to. Don't forget to network with current or former colleagues, professors, etc. You never know who might be able to connect you with a principal looking for a candidate just like you. Like we said, if your application is successfully screened, You get access to the new teacher finder, which is New York City Public Schools job search tool. And this screenshot gives you a glimpse of what the NTF looks like. After selecting search all positions on the left panel, you can filter for the position type or preferred borough, grade level, and subject area that you're looking for, in this case, computer science. Principals enter their vacancies into the NTF and while you can express interest via the NTF, you can also email principals directly. So we encourage you to network with principals in schools, especially once you gain access into NTF. Feel free to do external outreach as well. And for 24/7 support with the application and hiring process, you can visit New York City Public Schools Online Support Center. The Support Center contains hundreds of articles about every stage of the application and hiring process, as well as a Contact Us button where you can submit your questions to the TRQ Help Desk for a personalized response. But as we said, there are many articles. If you search in the keyword search section and type your question, it will give you access to articles that could potentially answer your question. And if it's a more personalized question, you can contact us. And here are some additional links to websites and resources that can support you through your process of becoming a computer science teacher at New York City Public Schools. We have NYCET and NYCPS resources, whether you're applying through the classroom teacher or transitional A pathway. To reiterate, for additional questions, you may contact us through online support. So utilize all these resources to help answer your questions. And in the end, if you have more personalized questions, you can contact us via online support, and a member of our team will gladly assist you. And then please follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram to stay on top what's happening within New York City Public Schools. We have a really active social media platforms. We regularly share updates on the application and recruitment events, as well as news about what's going on in our schools and relevant opportunities for teachers. So join the conversation.